Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and mark this where I'm going to trim this other piece of leather that goes on the back. Cut it. Okay. I'm going to trim this bottom just a little bit too. Okay, you can start to get an idea what it's going to look like. I'm still going to have to make a belt loop for the back as well, so maybe I'll do that next. The next thing I'm going to do here is cut out a belt loop. So I've marked out a piece here that's 3 inches long and 1 1/8 wide. It's a little narrower than I'd like to make a belt loop, but since this case is so small, I'm making the belt loop narrower. Okay, that will be the belt loop. The next thing is I want to trim this down so that it has the strap that goes over the top. So I've already marked out a few things here. I marked out where these edges, or actually where this edge comes into here. It's already cut. So I'm going to draw a line there and there where the cuts are, and then I've marked out, I want to make this strip 3/4 of an inch wide, so I've marked out on each side 3/8 of an inch, so I can draw a straight line here. The other thing I want to do is I want to kind of make this taper in. like an S curve. There. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut that. Okay, so it'll go like that. This will be sewn on top like this, and this strap will come around like this. And then a belt buckle or a belt loop will be sewn on the back. So I think the next thing to do, the next thing to do is I'm going to go ahead, I was going to go ahead and put grooves in here for threads, but I may trim that a little bit, so I think I'm going to wait on that. This, I'll go ahead and get this wet and form it to the belt loop shape. I was using this aluminum piece to form it around. And I made some other ones before and it kind of angled the bottom where it's sewed on, so I think I'll do that again as well. Okay, I've cut out the part for the belt loop. I'm going to go ahead and bevel the edges on it as well. And in the past, here's an old one I've made that hasn't been put on another project. I put a little groove in here. I think this time I'm going to go ahead and use this grooving tool that I used for stitching and put the groove in with that instead. Okay, it's not perfect, but it'll do. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is get it wet and mold it around this piece of metal. Okay, I've got the piece of leather wet, and I'm just going to mold it like that. And that will end up making the piece for the belt loop. And they'll just dry in that shape. Here's the belt loop that's formed and just ready to dry, and I went ahead and put some water on this other piece that'll go over the front for the stud and wrapped it around this piece of aluminum rod and let it dry like that. So it'll kind of be shaped to the contour of this, so it'll be easier to stitch it on there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off these corners and make them rounded. I've already gone ahead and put a pencil mark on here, put some radiuses on here. So I'll need to trim it off now to make it look more finished. Get a better idea how that rounded edge looks, a rounded corner. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a stitching groove in this section here on the edge. Okay, if you get a idea what that groove looks like along the edge, that's where the stitches will go.